Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 16, Text number 2. Nalam vayam te mahimanu varnane yo deva varyo avatattara mayaya venanga jatasya cha paurushani te Vachaspatinam api babramurdaya. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki. The reciters continued, Dear King, you are a direct incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, and by His costless mercy, you have descended on this earth. Therefore, it is not possible for us to actually glorify your exalted activities. Although you have appeared through the body of King Vena, even great orators and speakers, like Lord Brahma and other demigods, cannot exactly describe the glorious activities of your Lordship. Purport. In this verse, the word Mayaya means by your costless mercy. The Mayavadi philosophers explain the word Maya as meaning illusion or falseness. However, there is another meaning of Maya, that is costless mercy. There are two kinds of Maya, Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. Mahamaya is an expansion of Yoga Maya. And both these Mayas are different expressions of Lord's internal potencies. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears through His internal potencies, Atma Mayaya. We should therefore reject the Mayavada explanation that the Lord appears in a body given by the external potency, the material energy. The Lord and His incarnation are fully independent and can appear anywhere and everywhere by virtue of the internal potency. Although born out of so-called dead body of King Vena, King Prithu was still an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Lord's internal potency. The Lord can appear in any family. Sometimes He appears as a fish incarnation, Matsya Avatara, or a boar incarnation, Varaha Avatara. Thus the Lord is completely free and independent to appear anywhere and everywhere by His internal potency. It is stated that Ananta, an incarnation of the Lord who has unlimited mouths, cannot reach the end of His glorification of the Lord. Although Ananta has been describing the Lord since time immemorial. So what to speak of demigods like Lord Brahma, Shiva and others? It is said that the Lord is Shiva Virinchinutam, always worshipped by demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. If the demigods cannot find adequate language to express the glories of the Lord, then what to speak of others? Consequently, reciters like the Sutta and Magadha felt inadequate to speak about King Prithu. By glorifying the Lord with exalted verses, one becomes purified. Although we are unable to offer praise to the Lord in an adequate fashion, our duty is to make the attempt in order to purify ourselves. It is not that we should stop our glorification because the demigods like Lord Brahma and Shiva cannot adequately glorify the Lord. Rather, as stated by Prahlad Maharaj, everyone should glorify the Lord according to his own ability. If we are serious and sincere devotees, the Lord will give us the intelligence to offer prayers properly. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, the glorification of Prithu Maharaj continues, and the reciters of praise for King Prithu they say in the outset itself that you are the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And therefore, your qualities are unlimited. Your qualities cannot be described by limited entities like us. This is a very appropriate prayer that any devotee can make before any incarnation of the Lord. Incarnation of the Lord means the most merciful appearance of the Lord in this material world. Exhibiting his causeless mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls who all originally belong to the spiritual world. So the purpose of all incarnation is to come to the material world to recover the fallen souls. And here Prithu Maharaj is one such incarnation. The incarnation of the Lord means that the Lord has, out of his own internal potency, not external potency, out of his own internal potency, he assumes a form that appears, it assumes a form that is similar to the body of the incarnation. And such body of the incarnation is also no longer material. Because for the Lord, all energies are his energies. And for being very kind to us, in order to give us his appearance, he takes a form, sound, which is similar to the form of the sound that we can see or hear. So this is a principle of incarnation. This, only Vaishnavas understand this. As explained by Prabhupada here, the Mayavadis, they say that these incarnations When they say it is incarnation, let's say they say Krishna is incarnation, they also say. But they say that a formless Brahman has taken a material body of this Mahamaya. And therefore, everything that you see in this incarnated body is all matter. For them, there are only two things. One supreme, or whatever it is, Brahman. They don't say supreme Brahman also. Because if you say supreme Brahman, then there is Brahman which is not supreme. So therefore they say Brahman, spirit. That spirit is the absolute, and every varieties, form, name, activities, rasa, enjoyment, it is all material Maya. Whereas the Vaishnavas understand that there is Mahamaya and Yogamaya. This Mahamaya is a perverted reflection of Yogamaya. Energy, Maya is an energy that influences perception. Perception is in the minds of the people. So in our minds, we say we are under the influence of Mahamaya, means we are under the influence of, or we are being influenced in our perception. Outside reality is not, outside reality or the matter energy itself is not Maya, but the external energy is facilitated, it facilitates Maya perception. So Prabhupada is explaining two kinds of Maya. This Mahamaya, which we are all familiar because we are in Mahamaya. Unless we have chosen, even in this body, to be under the influence of Yogamaya. So Maya is a real Shakti of the Lord. Just like material energy, matter is a real Shakti. When a pure devotee is in this world, he is free from Mahamaya, but he sees this world, he sees these forms in this world, names in this world, activities in this world, he sees. But his interpretation, he sees it, that is influenced by Yogamaya. So in a way we can say, the Maya is according to our interpretation of what we see, or what we hear, what we touch, what we smell, what we taste. According to that, we are either influenced by Yogamaya, which influence means to see that everything belongs to Krishna and Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of the entire existence. Everything is his property. He is all pervading. And therefore, everything and everyone belongs to the Supreme Lord, all-pervading Lord, who is the supreme owner, knower, and enjoyer. He knows everything, he owns everything, and he enjoys everything. He enjoys on his own terms, not like how the living entities enjoy. The living entities enjoy this material body through its senses. And we call that as enjoyment, if I am able to satisfy my senses. With respect to this material body, Krishna also enjoys this material body, but he enjoys it as an instrument where which the living entity in that body engages in devotional service. So when we are also in that perception, when we practice that perception that Krishna is the owner of everything, knower of everything, enjoyer of everything, when we come to that attitude of existence, seeing the entire existence, then Yoga Maya influences our consciousness. Daivi Prakriti Ashritaha. Divine energy of the Lord. Lord has got unlimited energies. The function of the energy is to serve the energetic, to please the energetic. That is the function of all energies. Internal potency, external potency, external energy of the Lord. By simply giving facility to all the jivas who want to be independent of him, that is his causeless mercy of creating this material existence. So that is also his way, his enjoyment. His relationship with the rebellious living entities is in this form of enjoyment. Okay. I am unconditional in my love for you. You don't want to stay within the standard of enjoyment of me, which is the absolute standard of enjoyment, dependent enjoyment, sharing Krishna's enjoyment. Instead of that, you want your own. Okay, here is, I have created entire world for such living entities. So first thing we need to understand is, Maya is not outside. Material energy is not Maya. When Mahamaya, we are under the influence of Mahamaya, the influence of Mahamaya because of our attitude of enjoyment. Because Mahamaya has to facilitate. Krishna's scheme of things is, okay, let them have enjoyment, material enjoyment. Though it is false, momentary, give them false bodies and let them see their body as themselves. I am the body is because of there is an energy of the Lord, Maya energy, Mahamaya. That energy is influencing my perception. So where is the root cause? What attracts Yogamaya to us? What attracts Mahamaya to us? If we attract Mahamaya, because Krishna's scheme of things says what you want. You want your absolute relationship, loving relationship with me, and engage in devotional service. My Yogamaya will influence you. You want to be independent, total forgetfulness, you are disconnected from me. You want to forget that you belong to me. I will facilitate that through the energy called Mahamaya. So often we struggle with conditioned enjoyment of Mahamaya. Those are all conditioned habits in this material body. But the real cause is the energy of the Lord, which attacks us due to our sense of independence. So basically, if we change our existential attitude, why I exist for God, not that God exists for me. Not that I use God. God should use me. He is the supreme enjoyer. It's difficult for beginning for people to swallow this because they become envious. What is this philosophy? When God is said to be the supreme enjoyer, one has to understand that his enjoyment is not excluding you. Holistic enjoyment. He is not a selfish, like two people say, you enjoy or you enjoy. It's not comparison like that. God's enjoyment, why are we trying to enjoy? Because the enjoying tendency is there in God. Satchidananda is infinite bliss, infinite love, infinite everything, infinite pleasure. That is what we glorify. When you stand before the deities of Radha, Krishna, Chandra, we glorify. You are the eternal, unlimited enjoyers of loving pastimes, of love between both of you. Because you are the supreme Shaktiman and Radharani is the supreme Shakti. So why? As we explained, the Mayavadis don't understand that there is real love, there is real pleasure, there is real body, there is a real world which is not created, maintained and destroyed. An eternal world is there. There is eternal people-to-people relationship. Because it is there in the spiritual world, it is here reflected as momentary relationships. Because there are spiritual eternal forms, male, female, everything, beauty, all these things are there in the spiritual world. Therefore, in this world we experience momentary beauty of temporary bodies. love between temporary false egos. As long as I love someone as Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, that means I am identifying them with their material body. The identity of the material body vanishes as soon as one dies. It's over. That Mr. So-and-so's activities are all forgotten and he is also forgotten, he is disconnected from it. It only remains, if at all, something relatively in the eyes of mundane people. If some great thing is done, then in history will remember you 1 generation, 2 generation, 3 generation. After that, they will also forget. So our entire material world, we should learn how to see this as a facility given by the Lord for those who do not want their real body, real life, which is to be satisfied as an eternal servant of Krishna. As eternal servant of Krishna, we are entitled for loving relationship with Krishna, eternal. We are entitled to see the beautiful spiritual world, spiritual body of Supreme Lord and His associates. Everyone in the spiritual world is attracted to Krishna so much. There is no comparison to Krishna's beauty with beauty of anybody in the spiritual world except Radharani. So when we have attraction to Krishna, when you have an infinite attraction, your mind is captured by the infinite attraction. Everybody else and everything else is part and parcel of God. The beauty of the part cannot exist the beauty of the whole. Therefore, in the spiritual world, because of one's attraction to Krishna, Krishna consciousness, even though everything is beautiful, everything, one does not think that I want to enjoy that. Because he is absorbed in enjoying the beauty of Krishna, he is absorbed in enjoying the beautiful, loving relationship with Krishna in devotional service. When you have the ocean, why do you want drop? When you feel that you possess Krishna in loving relationship, then you don't feel that you are no longer, you have ocean with you. Why you need a drop of water? So, for some reason, when the living entity wants, because he has got absolute freedom, he wants to try to be independent, enjoy like a whole. This finger has to enjoy through my body. Is it not? Through my whole system only it has to enjoy. It can get enjoyment. It is nourished, nutrition, everything is there, it's working fine. But if it gets cut off from the main body, then it will rot. So we are all rotting in this material world due to forgetfulness of Krishna. Due to the forgetfulness of Krishna means forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna, because we wanted to try independent relationships. Independent Sat, independent Chit. Independent Sat means independent existence. Independent Chit, knowledge. And independent Ananda, love and pleasure. What is the proof of this philosophy? Proof of this philosophy is that you see every living entity in this material world is after Sat and Chit and Ananda. Every living entity is after, nobody wants to die. The sense of eternity is there in everybody. Everything should be permanent, but even the whole material world itself will not be permanent. Creation, maintenance, destruction. Our life also. Nothing is permanent. Body-centered life is not permanent. So this is a proof of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And hardly anybody wants to think of God. Nobody wants to think that, find out who I am and I want, and realize they're part of God. And they're cared by God. They're protected by God. Provided by God. Every Satya, Chitta and Ananda can be provided from the Supreme Lord. The potential is there for each living entity. But you see in the material world, why the potential is there? Because that is his original Surupa. All his enjoyment comes through Krishna. All his knowledge comes through Krishna. His existence is a sense of belonging to Krishna. So most important thing is Krishna has created all these Shaktis. Material energy, spiritual energies, matter, spirit, all these things are emanating. Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam pravartate. Everything is working according to his scheme of things. Mahamaya is facilitating by putting us in ignorance and forgetfulness of Krishna. If you remember that this is cheating pleasure, cheating love, if somebody knows that something is cheating, will he take? He will not take. If somebody is given a food and he knows that it is poison, will he take? He will not take. So to hide the fact, only if you hide the fact it is poison, then you will take. So Maya's main job is to cover the temporary nature of all these things, and we start believing this is enjoyment, this is love, this is happiness. And the fact that it does not satisfy my soul at all at any stage of my existence is a proof that it was bogus, it was fake. So, this is the way Vaishnavas see. When people are ignorant and they are running after sense gratification, this whole world, for independent existence, knowledge and bliss, they are running. We should see that the living entities who are part of God are under the influence of Mahamaya because they want it. People live in this world as if this world is spiritual world. Why do they think so? Because you want to imitate these pleasures of the spiritual world here independently. Therefore, if that belief doesn't come into you, if that belief is not put into you by Mahamaya that this is joy, this is happiness, this is love, that influence doesn't come on you, then how can you fulfill your desire to be independent? So even the creation of this material world is a causeless mercy of the Lord. His arrangement to fulfill the desires. Who is the real cause for this material world? The jivas. If they have no desire to be independent of Krishna, then there is no need for material world. So this is very wonderfully Prabhupada has explained that Maya is the influencing energy. Yoga Maya is there. Yoga Maya's influence now. Mahamaya and Yoga Maya. Mahamaya works by ignorance. Now is Yoga Maya also ignorance? Mother Yashoda is thinking that Krishna is her son. This is due to Yoga Maya. She has forgotten that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have also forgotten that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is under the influence of Mahamaya, other is under the influence of Yoga Maya. The influence of Yoga Maya is meant for giving pleasure to Krishna. Mahamaya is meant to give pleasure to false egos that we fabricate. Mr. So-and-so, this thing, bodily identity, bodily personalities we create. And we think we are that. So Mahamaya is meant for facilitating enjoyment. Obviously, it is according to laws of karma. One cannot say there is no enjoyment in this material world. There is plenty of enjoyment and suffering. But that enjoyment quality is not eternal. That enjoyment is fake enjoyment because the enjoyer himself is under the influence of Mahamaya. We are not independent enjoyers. It's a truth. My soul is not. Unless my soul goes to sleep, I cannot enjoy like a independent false ego. False ego means you have forgotten your real ego. A false identity is being powered by your real ego. Ego is that of the soul. When my spirit ego propels a false identity, self-identity, that is called false ego. So the influence of, we have to get out of this material world means we have to deep within us, I don't want to be influenced by Mahamaya. Krishna, please relieve me. And that prayer is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nicely chanting, automatically the Yoga Maya will come and influence our heart. We are not struggling to control senses like Mayavadis, Jnanis, all these things. Our process is effectively associating with Krishna. By effectively associating with Krishna, we come out of illusion. We come out of darkness. Automatically we see that our desire for sense gratification, all are just, they wither away. Because the Lord shines in our heart, how these are all cheating? You are deceiving yourself. That Chitta Shakti comes from Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The truth becomes apparent even in this material world. When we are in this body, one can live like an enlightened soul in this body by engaging in pure devotional service, 24 hours thinking of Krishna and serving Krishna, serving Krishna's pleasure. Another point Prabhupada mentions here is about how Mayavadi explanation that I explained already. They say, whether it is Jiva or whether it is anybody, for instance, Krishna is an advanced Jiva for them. Because there is nothing like Brahman and Parabrahman and Brahman. You cross this material energy, there is only Brahman. And that Brahman has anything to do with personal features is a result of Mahamaya. There is no personal God, there is no spiritual world, there is no love. All these things are illusion. Every variegatedness is called Maya. But the scriptures, left, right and center, they talk about two Maya, Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. Yoga Maya's work is to enhance the... See, if Yashoda and Krishna, they remember that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the rasa is disturbed. The purpose of Yoga Maya to cover, it is not covering. You should never say there is no covering in the spiritual world. Selective perception, filter. The material world, Maya covers us. In the spiritual world, Krishna's consciousness and Yashoda's consciousness are selectively filtered so that there is varieties of joy for Krishna and his devotees. There is no ignorance. Oh, Yashoda doesn't know he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means she is in ignorance. No, not in ignorance. Ignorance is different. So, the principle of avatara, here to discuss more. It's a long discussion, some of the things that Prabhupada is talking about here, that the Lord and His incarnation are fully independent and can appear anywhere and everywhere by virtue of the internal potency. Although born out of so-called dead body of King Vena, that is his avatara sharira. Because if that avatara sharira is not there, I will not be able to see. So there are different kinds. But just because he is avatara sharira, he takes, one should not think that he is identifying with that sharira. His own spiritual sharira takes the form that is similar to the avatara sharira. Just like the pure spiritual Shuddha Nama in the spiritual world is a real Nama. Now we utter with our tongue, with our material tongue, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Into that sound, the Lord's Shuddha Nama incarnates. The moment the Lord incarnates into any sharira, there is nothing material left there. Therefore we say that sound that we chant is Krishna. To give us association, Krishna becomes this sound. Now Krishna becomes this sound means it does not unbecome something else. Just like Brahman has no form, enters a sharira form, and then that is their understanding of incarnation. We say no, Parabrahman, the Supreme Brahman, he takes a form similar to the avatara sharira. That means he doesn't, in our eyes we may look like he has taken a sharira. He never takes a material body. Material body is for us to perceive. And moment he comes, he enters, he takes a form similar to the deity and enters the deity. Then in there is nothing material at all. We are directly witnessing the presence of the Lord. Our seva is received as your seva will be received in the spiritual world by the original form of the Lord. It will be received. Only difference is what? In the spiritual world, the seva is received, plus you have spiritual experience of that. But here in the material world, because my spiritual senses are not awakened, my service is received by the holy name, by the deities, received as good as Shuddha Nama is receiving this seva. as far as receiving the seva is concerned. But as far as tasting that seva, when you chant the Shakti Avesha Nama, it purifies us. After a certain level, all levels of purification, when we continue to do our chanting, at that time, not only holy name receives our service, in addition to it, you experience spiritual bliss because your spiritual senses have awakened. Because our spiritual senses are sleeping, the Lord is very kind. Doesn't matter. You have full faith that I am there before you. With your senses, with your material senses, you can see only marble, you cannot see only stone, all these things. But you understand that I am omnipotent. To take your service, I become that. You offer me, I will take the service. And when you purify yourself, when your spiritual senses are awakened, you will realize that my transcendental form similar to the deity will be realized, Satchidananda form. Then you realize, oh, I was always serving the Satchidananda form. He was receiving it, but I couldn't experience because my spiritual senses were covered. So you see the difference? Brahman has got form, Parabrahman has got form, name, everything. Spiritual name, spiritual form. That form enters this form. Not that the formless, nameless Brahman gets conditioned into this. According to Mayavada philosophy, incarnations are simply like you only, elevated, developed, achieved. Therefore, they always say that you can also become Krishna, you can also become Rama. Every jiva should become that. In this world. For them, Krishna and Rama is of this world. The moment you give a form to God, then he is of this world. That finally is very elevated, the souls are Krishna, Rama. And then they merged into Brahman. They attained self-realization. One step just before self-realization is what? Is to become Krishna, Rama, all these things. Just see that philosophy. Big difference. The only common thing between Vaishnavas and philosophy and Vaishnavas and Mayavadi is that both believe that beyond matter there is spirit. What is the difference between Buddhists and Vaishnavas and Shankarites? Buddhists say there is no spirit at all, only matter. We say there is matter, there is spirit, there is a supreme spirit, there is supreme love, supreme everything, supreme enjoyment, Satya Chitta Ananda. As per Mayavada philosophy, ultimate is not Satchidananda. They may say, they also preach about Satchidananda. But they say that you go there and then afterwards, there is no differentiation in the spiritual world. Ananda means love. Love means you need two people. So where is love? In the absolute, there is no love. But in the material world, you have to love everybody and then only you will become that loveless. Therefore, they also have Bhakti Yoga. You'll be surprised. They have temples. They worship. They worship in order to merge with the deity. Any questions?
Ego itself is bad.
No. These are all influence of Mayavada philosophy. Ego is bad is not correct. the soul has got ego. And that ego is an individuality of being a pure servant of Krishna. That ego is covered now. But the Shakti of that ego is powering the false identity. I am not servant of Krishna, I am independent. So in Vaishnava philosophy, you see, there is pure ego, there is pure love, there is pure individuality. Everything is in pure form, it is there. Now they are all in imitation form. So I am a tiny ego, Krishna is a supreme ego. If somebody accepts Krishna, whatever he talks in Bhagavad Gita is perfect. Right? Every Hindus accept. It's perfect knowledge. But in that perfect knowledge, you will see Krishna's ego so much. Krishna should have, if it's perfect knowledge, he should not have shown his ego, no. Only aham, mam, matpara, aham, sarvadharman parityaya, mam ekam sharanam, only me, nobody else. What an ego. Huh? They cannot explain why was this. If they accept Krishna, therefore they are very careful. So they say, Mamekam Sharanam Raja means Krishna is saying, come and merge with me. That means, they say that Krishna, when Krishna says to surrender unto me, he does not mean the form before Arjuna, he means the formless behind Krishna. These are the interpretation. You can read the interpretations of impersonalists on this verse. Not surrender to that Krishna, because according to them, this form is all Maya. But we understand this form is Yoga Maya, Krishna's eternal form. When Krishna says surrender unto me, Krishna surrender unto his form, who is standing before him. So you have to read Prabhupada's books. A different kind of an exposure you get to the philosophy of Ramanujacharya, philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Madhvacharya. They are all different from the Shankaracharya's interpretation of what is soul. There itself there is a difference. Both agree, it is spirit.
So Prabhu, false Maya covers, the false ego covers the
covers the soul,
covers
real ego. Just like you see, there is pure white light. If you put a lion mask in the front of it, the light takes the form of lion. If it is a colored mask, colored lion face will come. Right? But the light is from where? From the torch. Similarly, false ego is coming from where? False egos, that mask is a creation, an illusion. So false ego is an element. Just like mask is an element. It is permutation, combination created out of matter, subtle material energy. That comes in between. So then you go and stand before the mirror. Suppose you are the torch. You stand before the mirror. What will you tell? I am a lion. Correct? In the same way, now you are saying, I am the body. But that I is a real ego. In illusion that I am the body. So discovering what is my true I as an eternal servant of Krishna, that is self-realization. I am lover of Krishna. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.